tragedy has struck. The laundry room in my building has an out of order sign because both dryers are broken and parts are on order, and I don't know how long it's going to take for them to get fixed. And Friday, today's Saturday, Friday is my usual laundry day, so I really need to do laundry and I have no machines. And the thing is, if it was the washers that were broken, I could theoretically have hand washed my laundry and put them in the dryer, and that would have, sucked. But it would be doable. But like it's the thing of I don't have a practical way to dry my laundry because I don't have anywhere to hang my laundry. So I have to go all the way downtown to do laundry at a laundromat. There is a laundromat nearer to my apartment, but the reviews are sketchy. And it says it's expensive, and I don't really feel like paying a bunch of money for laundry machines that may or may not work very well. So I'm going to go downtown to the laundromat I used to use when I lived downtown, because I know it's a really good laundromat. It still has consistently good reviews. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This means that I can only do like half a load of laundry because it's just what I can fit in my backpack, alongside, my detergent and stuff. So that sucks. But I will at least make sure I have, my underwear and socks clean, and my kid has all of his clothing clean. And then I have enough clothing to do, like in terms of shirts and stuff, to do me another week. So hopefully the laundry machines are fixed by next weekend so I can do full loads of laundry again. All that being said, I also have a longer weekend away from my kid because for reasons he's staying with his dad an extra night, and that means I also have all of Sunday and part of Monday instead of just part of Sunday. So I decided, this is all a preface, a long-winded preface to say I wanted to try to do my second Libby lineup video. Now, I think I'm going to do it differently than I did before. The first time I did it, I borrowed, I think, 5 books all at once, and then I just tried to read them. But the issue with that is that made me feel a ton of pressure because I was aware that all of these books had like a ticking down due date kind of thing. And so that made me feel a little stressy. So I think I'm just going to do one book at a time. Because I'm going to be sitting at the laundromat for probably close to 2 hours. Well, maybe not close to 2 hours. An hour, hour and a half, I guess. But that's a lot of time to read. And then there's also like the time spent on the bus, the time spent waiting for the bus. I'm also going to see about getting a flu shot appointment, so I might be sitting to wait for that. And I just generally have potential time to read this weekend. So I might try to do that. And I think the way I'm going to do the Libby lineup is, rather than being like, I'm going to borrow all these books at once and I have to read or DNF them before their due date is up, I might just give myself like an assigned time within which to read things, and whatever I get through in that time is what I get through. I have a book to finish reading already, but it's not a very long book and it's a very simple read. I don't think I'm going to have a video on that. I really don't have much to say, but I think I might wait until I'm at the laundromat to borrow my next book, but we'll see. We'll see. I just wanted to make sure I filmed an intro because I'm not going to be filming an intro at the laundromat. So I just want to make sure I did that. Sorry for how long this is, and let's see what we get up to in this video. All right, I'm back from the laundromat. I know I'm sitting in the exact same place as earlier. You wouldn't know anything had happened, but I am indeed back from the laundromat. I tried a few books. The first one was 6 Crimson Cranes. I read the first chapter of that and like maybe a couple pages of the second chapter, and I just wasn't in love with the writing, I guess. And also, like, how do I put this? The way references to the lore were being kind of like dropped in willy-nilly. Sometimes that can work as like making it feel grounded, but in this case it felt like scattershot. I don't know if that's the right word. In any case, I just wasn't quite vibing with it. I think maybe it was a little too YA for me at this point in terms of the whole like, oh, she's betrothed to someone and she doesn't want to be, and she kind of wishes she talks about wishing she could like maybe not exactly run away, but like go out and see the world. But then she imagines like a consequence of, you know, her magic being discovered being that she would be sent away, and that's not something she wants. And I'm like, I get like contextually being sent away is different than like choosing to go away, but also I don't know. It just like I don't know. And the whole like the way the forbidden magic was being introduced, and like I'm sure there's explanation later, but it's like why was she experimenting with forbidden magic, and how would she discover she has forbidden magic and her very overbearing family not notice she has forbidden magic? And why I don't know. I don't know. I just wasn't vibing with it, so I DNF'd, which is part of this whole the point of this whole process. And the next thing I tried was Furyborn. I didn't even make it through the full first chapter of that one because I was like, there is so much happening, but like it's all stuff that's already happened and it's just being dropped on us. And I'm like, I can't follow what's going on. I'm confused. So I just didn't bother with that one. It was just too much at once. I couldn't do it. And then I picked up Say a Little Prayer. This one I have read, technically, I've read up to chapter 4, but somehow when I opened the book and like, you know, you skip the like not acknowledgments, but the like dedication or whatever, you skip ahead to get to the actual start of the book. Somehow I skipped the first chapter. But like it's fine. I completely understood it. Like the second chapter felt like a first chapter. And I went back and skimmed a little bit of the first chapter, and it was kind of like, yeah, no, this is already like I don't need all these details. I get it. So I've definitely made it further into this book compared to the others. I am enjoying it more. It's interesting because like as someone who grew up like not religious at all, reading from the perspective of someone who was raised religious but has moved away from the religion, but her community and social circle is still very much involved in religion and like the same church that she left. I find that really interesting. And also the like two sides of like there's her and there's her sister, and they both left the church but for different reasons, but the church treats them kind of the same. Like I don't consider this a spoiler because it's within the first 3 chapters, but the main character, I mean, this is in the synopsis, I'm pretty sure, the main character is bisexual, so the pastor raved against, you know, homosexuality is a sin. And the older sister is, she accidentally got pregnant and went out of state for an abortion, or not out of state, out of town for an abortion. And so the pastor, you know, raved against that. And so like they both have very different experiences of being essentially pushed out of the church, but also like ultimately from the pastor's perspective, it's the same. So I thought that was interesting. And I haven't read the synopsis in a while, so I don't remember, but I'm getting the vibe that the sort of childhood friend who's also at the Bible camp might be the love interest, which I would enjoy. I do like friends to lovers. And yeah, I'm enjoying it well enough so far, and I'm excited to see where it goes. It would be really cool if I just had 2 really quick DNFs and then a book I like, and that's like that could be the video. That could be the whole thing. I think that serves the purpose of a Libby lineup video, which is to, I didn't even explain that in the beginning. Oh my gosh. A Libby lineup video is where I go through my TBR tab on Libby and I read through books there, or, you know, I borrow books, I read them, and I either finish books off my TBR or DNF them, and then that helps, like, you know, pare down my giant list of books I want to read on Libby. So if I've already DNF'd 2 books and then I complete another one, that will be 3 books off my Libby TBR in rapid succession. I would like to get to 5. That just feels like a really nice number, but 3 is also good. I would be content with 3. So we'll see how long it takes me to read through, say a little prayer. And I didn't end up reading on the bus. I only read at the laundromat, and then I read while waiting for the bus on the way, both on the way down and on the way back up. So I don't anticipate taking the bus again this weekend because that's a lot of money. But I'm sure there will be other moments for me to read. And also I try to make a point to read on the weekend. Anyway, that's enough rambling. That's where I'm at with this video. And hopefully this is a good one and I have a success with Say a Little Prayer. We'll see. I'm 47% of the way through the book now, and I wanted to update because of the next chapter title, which is If You Read Gallagher Girls in Middle School, You're Gay Now. And I did not come here to feel this called out, okay? I'm almost halfway through the book. It's really good. I'm loving it so far. I love that the premise is Riley, the main character. Did I even say her name before? Riley trying to find ways to, so she's sent to this Bible camp thing, and as part of it's like a 7-day camp, and so every day of the camp is dedicated to one of the virtues in, contrast with one of the sins or whatever. And so part of what she's doing is she's trying to find a way to embody each of the sins they're supposed to be countering each day and prove that sin isn't bad, because she has to write an essay while she's there, and that's like part of her punishment for she hit another girl at school for shit talking her sister, and so she wants to write an essay that basically counteracts all of the pastor's lessons about sin. And so like that's what she's been doing, is at Bible camp living in sin, and it's so good. I love it. And it is for sure definitely Julia, her childhood best friend, who is the love interest. But there's also interesting things going on with Amanda, the girl that Riley hit, and I'm very curious about what's going on, and like I don't know. The book also does like a really good job of exploring not only the complication of like being raised in the church and then leaving the church, but still being surrounded by that kind of community, and like how so much of her social network was built up around church and religious community and religious activities. But also like the specifically what it's like to be back in a place where she's surrounded by people she used to be friends with, but isn't friends with anymore, either because she left the church or because of her sister leaving the church, and like the specific circumstances of her sister leaving the church. I just think it's all very interesting, and I think it's handling it with a lot of care and nuance, and I'm really enjoying it. Also the chapter titles are great. Goddamn. I have to go to a vaccine appointment, so maybe potentially while I'm waiting for my appointment, I will read some more. I'm also going to go to the bank to get change for laundry for when the machines are hopefully fixed soon. So I'll probably also be reading in line at the bank. We'll see where I'm at when I update next. I'm gonna update really quick before I go get my laundry. Things have happened in my life. I am hoping I finished reading Say a Little Prayer. I finished reading it last night. I'm hoping to try to read more into basically like up to next Friday. It's currently Friday, so I'm going to try and read up to next Friday, because then that would be a total of 2 weeks for this project, or maybe to next Saturday, because I technically started on Saturday. But I want to try and do a total of 2 weeks for this project, because that feels right. But I'm a little hesitant now because I don't know how much reading I'm actually going to be able to get done, because this is a short weekend for me. My kid's coming back on Saturday instead of Sunday. And some things have happened that mean I have to try and deal with some paperwork. We'll see. But
Other good news is that the laundry machines in my building finally got fixed. It's been a whole week. They're finally fixed. I can do an actual full load of laundry. I'm currently waiting for my laundry to dry. It should be done soon, so I'm trying to record this before that's done. Anyway, you don't care about any of that. What I'm here to say is that I finished reading Say a Little Prayer by Jenna Voris, and I loved it. 5 stars, such a good book. Really, really solid YA queer romance. But like, my experience with the book was like, I enjoyed the romance, it was fine. I was way more invested in everything else that was going on. I really liked the exploration of the main character's relationship with faith and the faith community, and especially the way that like different people explore the same faith in different ways, and the like exploration of like religion as a tool of power, but also a tool of community. And I really liked how, you know, the main character specifically, Riley specifically, was dealing with, you know, part of the fallout of leaving the church is that she lost all of these connections and all of this community. And so throughout the book, she's starting to like reform some of those connections, even though she herself is not returning to the church. She's still outside of that, and she still has a really complicated relationship with faith. She doesn't know if she believes in all of that anymore. And like, I really, really enjoyed that and the way that was explored. I felt that was the emotional heart of the story, not the romance. And it was handled really well. And like, granted, I'm not a religious person, so maybe I'm not the best person to reflect on how well it was handled, but I thought it was done really well. I thought it was handled with care and nuance, and I just really liked it. It was well written. It was well paced. I liked the, like, there was kind of a twist at the end. Like, as it was happening, I realized what was happening and I understood, but it, like, I wasn't expecting it as I was reading through the book, even though I had like little moments where I'm like, I bet this is going to be relevant later. Like, something's going to happen with this. And then when it actually happened, it was like, oh, this is what was going to happen with that. Like, that kind of twist. Hard to get into without talking spoilers. I would consider this an extremely minor spoiler, but it's not really. It's a romance novel, so like, but I did appreciate that, like, in a lot of queer romances or books with queer romance, a lot of the times the characters getting together entails them being out, and like being totally open about the fact that they're queer. But this book ends with, yes, the characters are essentially together, but one of them isn't out, and so they aren't out with their relationship. And it's a thing of like, they're waiting until they can be. They're waiting until, I think basically until graduation, when they go elsewhere. And I liked that, because for a lot of people that's just how it has to be. And it's nice to see that portrayed without it being seen as like shameful or sad, or like in other books that might be presented as cowardly. I really, really appreciated that. But anyway, my alarm for my laundry is about to go off, so I'm gonna leave this clip here, and we'll see if I read more stuff later. It's been a little bit, well, I guess it's been like a day since I updated. I don't think I'm gonna read another book in this video. I didn't read anything last night or today, and given things, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to read much. Like, I don't think I'll be able to read enough to finish a book in a week, which is what would have fit the parameters of this video. So I think for this video, all we have is I DNF'd 2 books, and then I read 1, which honestly isn't that bad, because it means I cleared 3 books off my Libby TBR, and that's pretty good, you know? Ultimately, that's pretty good. So that's where we're at. I just wanted to make sure I actually closed out the video. So if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Leave maybe like a book stack or a library emoji in the bottom, or in the bottom, what? In the comments. And my brain will be working better eventually. And I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.